What's up, guys? I figured I'd pop back in today because we got a little bit of a liquidity injection, looks like, and the price is kind of moving. Cross exchanges are moving at different rates. If we follow on CoinMarketCap, the price is varying a little bit. What you're going to see is probably some liquidity or buy orders go in on one side, push the price up. On one, and then the bots that are in all these exchanges, they are specifically built for what's called arbitrage. Is when the price varies between exchanges, is they'll go and profit that. You can actually use a PyNX bot for free and just call it an arbitrage bot. And what it'll do is anytime there's an exchange that you could buy it cheaper on one and sell it for more on another, it'll go do that for you, and you can get the difference. So, like, if you were doing it, you'd get 342 to 399 as your action. That's a little bit delayed because PyNX is really trading in this 381, 85 range kind of thing. And so I have a sell order for this little touch, and then I'm going to be hoping to buy back in at a little bit under. If it keeps running, I will probably be chasing. Because we have a good little pop up into this resistance zone. We can see, let's see if we can see my bots. It shows up on my phone and I can track them. Great bot. There they are. So you can see down here, this is if I was going to set up another bot. Original investment was $100 on each of them. It doesn't say my grids on it. Unless they go into detail, I'm sure. But from what I looked at on my phone, just so we know, this top one is the one that I set up with 22 grids personally, just because 22 is my baseball number, and it's kind of a middle ground. The more grids you're going to have, the smaller the orders will be, so it'll do more frequent orders, but you won't be able to get as much profit in those because there's not enough time for it to run. The AI suggested bot based on TXC's price history that ChatGPT came up with was 56 grids. So it's suggesting the high frequency trade. Of course, today with the big price move, the sudden breakout, unfortunately that only got a 5% gain. And it didn't capture the same that it would have got if you were either manually trading or if you were, or if you had the less grids, which would allow for a bigger gap in between the grids, giving you better profit. So we're just kind of watching this. We're seeing Bitmart definitely led the way on the volume and the pump. It was the first to act, and it came all up to 434. Biconomy got up to 447. I saw, but it was a quick wick, shot up and shot back down. Probably because that liquidity hit and there just wasn't enough on the order book. I'm bummed because I had some for sale over there and missed that spike, but that's okay. Had no way to see this kind of price action coming. But what I got going on with my manual order that I did of $100 for $100, I have an order set to sell at $385.67, and it's $385.555 was an old. Actually, that was an old price that I actually had trying to sell because I'm trying to capture this profit so that I can be beating the bots on day one. So what if we even just did a sell for 385? We're just going to call it 385 just because I want to capture my profit being better than them. Sell, waiting for that to fill. Doesn't want to fill because this 384.93 is the bid. That would give me 15% profit. Oh, somebody's trying to sneak up underneath me. That would give me 15% profit where the bots were at, 10 or 11% so far. So then hopefully I could try to get a buy-in for less, and then I can start accumulating and building and let this run hopefully continue. I'd like to see the sentiment pick up and lead this into and through the weekend. Would be great. The labs in the lab are getting antsy. They don't like that we're raining. Come on, we just need this order to fill. I know. We're all anxious. We were waiting to see if somebody will pony up the 0.0003 and fill my order so that I can beat the bots. Just a little, if you haven't seen the other video I initiated, I took $100 and started the TXC AI strategy, which is a grid bot. The grids are basically orders. So what you're like, these are grids. So when you're seeing the bots, they're placing some buys and they're placing some sells, which is where all these little decimals are that you're seeing. Those are all grid bot orders. So the more grids you have, your funds that you would be allocated throughout. So as you're capturing profits back and forth, they're going to be smaller amounts. But if you do less grids, it'll do less of these orders, and it'll be larger allocations. So instead of doing smaller 0.4, your grid would be more like these ones and twos. So when the order, as it moves up throughout the order, you would see larger profit percentages, which is why my custom bot that I built with 22 grids versus the 56 grids that AI suggested is sitting at 11% profit because we had this big candle breakout. So if you ever expect the price or we're seeing a near breakout kind of trend, or you don't want to miss the breakout, using less grids will help you capture those as orders fill. Because of course, if it sees big sweeps come in, it'll capture and it'll cancel and move the order to capture those for you, so you don't miss them. When we're in the period that we were before, the high frequency bot or the higher frequency trading of a bigger grid would capture more of these moves. You would have caught all these, and then you would have bought in on these, and then you would have caught those, would have bought all these and sold on all those. So those, I just want to get this kind of filled, but I feel like it's going to spike on me. I'm going to cancel this one more time just because I want to show you guys filling an order and then doing another one. So if we do, we're just going to do 4, because then it will be under and it'll fill. So even though the mid is 8497 and I'm doing 8444, it's going to fill most likely, but what I'm doing is I'm blocking out any of these smaller orders. I don't want to, because I don't want my order to be filled all the way down here into the 382. I want my order, and it's saying it's going to fill at a market price, but only of, no, since the sell on this set, it's not going to, let's see, it's going to make me upset if it, oh no, it's doing it. Okay, price 344, yeah, okay, good, it did it. If you ever see like there's not enough buys to fill the order, which is why it only filled 4. Yeah, see, if you ever don't want to lose, because if I would have placed a market order, it would have made sure that it filled all 30 of the TXC at whatever price it took to fill them. So it would have came all the way down here to 380, probably 3, maybe even lower, depending on the order, and would have filled the order over priority. But what I'm setting the order is I want the 30 to be filled at 384.44 or more. So that's why I got a partial fill, 4.21 it filled so far, waiting for more bids to come up to accept that. I could obviously lower my limit and get more to fill, but I'm not gonna. I'm trying to capture this 384, 385 range. It's kind of the little consolidation zone before we see. Before we see 4. So like we're seeing Bitmart losing its steam. curious if because of the other ones all trying to catch up, if we're going to go back to the 370. Tricky. I was confident that we were going to get that 385, but it's being a little bit of a turd right now. So it looks like I am going to cancel that. And we're just going to set this to 380 for now. And we're going to sell the rest of my TXC. And it's like, wait, that's a market price. I get it. Don't show me. Just don't fill it below. 380. Go. Boom, filled. Okay, so now that I've filled that order, I can see that I have 114.84 is my new amount that I can buy. So since I filled that lower, I'm just going to go to 375 as my limit buy, and I want to buy my full allocation and get back in there. I'm feeling the momentum, so I'm not sitting out. I'm not falling back. It will be a bummer if some more liquidity or another second round of pump came in and pushed this guy up. Or the bots came in and started running this up a little bit more. If you look at the prices on on these exchanges, 399 on Bitmart is no more. Bitmart is showing 370 live, so this hasn't updated yet. Dextrade I'm not looking at. Biconomy's 376 now. Let me see. I can pull it up on my phone real quick. Let's see what we got as a price. Market. Showing 381.77 is the Biconomy price. I don't have XC pulled up. XT 350. That seems really low, and I thought XT was one that we were adding to the list of the market maker bot exchange or liquidity edition. Still showing 350. So, Dextrade's back down to 359 though. Pinex is showing 341. That's funny because it's really 381, and I sold some of those up there. So my order is not filling. It would be kind of cool. So I think if I remember starting, I first bought 30.1. Was it 29 point something? And now I'll be, when I buy back, even though it's only a dime, this must have been, that makes sense. It was 30.1. Now I'll be buying back a dime less, and I'll be getting 30.62. So I'm going to be accumulating while I'm doing this, which is as nice as it is to see, a big percent gain on your portfolio where you bought a whole bunch at 10 cents and you have 100 at 10 cents, and that's great. You have huge profit. The fact that you could have bought at 10 cents, sold at 20, bought back at 15, sold at 30, bought back at 25, sold at 40, bought back at 35, and you stair step up like that as the market stair steps up. Not only are you creating a circulating supply and the volume and activity that's flashy to all investors to be like, oh yeah, money's moving here, I can get in here. Not only is that appealing to the masses, but I am not recording. No, oh no, I am recording. I must have it on full screen. But not only are you creating that volume and activity, sorry for the lost thought, that's appealing for outside investors, but you're accumulating. So you might have started with 100 coins, and then you bought back 111, and then you bought back 115, and as you kind of grow, you're actually building your stash. So even though you don't hold that 10 cent average anymore, now you hold a 40 cent average, and it's sitting at 44 cents. So you're not up 400%, but you also gained 10 coins along the way or whatever. So you can build your portfolio that way too. It's called accumulation. Is the plain term of it. And by being active, the bots will do it for you because they're allocating and going and maintaining full allocation. When you get into one of the bigger accounts or a bigger size, and you're using these bots, like if you were trying to do like a $10,000 bot or something, when you go through your setups and parameters, let me see if I could bring it up and show you, because I don't know. Customize. It's simple. I'm curious if I have to show a certain amount. There's a way to do it, and it might just be in which one you do, because you might have to make sure you pick it first. Anyway, what you would look for to make sure that you do is to decide on how much of the fund you're allocating. So if you're going to give it a $10,000 bot, it won't always have the $10,000 fully allocated. When you're with TXE right now, it's worth doing the full allocation because I saw it on my phone when I was setting it up. I wonder how come I don't see it on the... Oh, here you go. This one, a TWAP. You can set up how many transactions you're trying to do, how often you're trying to make it do, and this type of bot would be better for somebody who's doing a large account. This is going to create that accumulation and constant movement, which will give you the high frequency yield. You're going to get only like small percentage on each one, but you'll stack them and compound them to where you'll get better growth. But so if you're doing a big account, you'll look into that one. I mean, 10,000 is probably not even enough. 10,000 seems like a lot for TXC because the liquidity is so small. And right now, kind of on Pi and X, you're not seeing that. I think you'd even be better off setting up, instead of trying to throw $25,000 into one single bot. I think you'd be better off spreading that out into multiple bots. Just kind of a personal suggestion. What you got kind of going on, but it is kind of cool seeing these bots in action. They're holding 10 or 5 and 10% each, and I didn't have to do anything. That price moved up on its own, and luckily I was on to catch it because I actually didn't have a manual sell target set up at all. So I would have missed capturing that, so that I could say that I'm better than the bots, because I think I'm up 14% right now. Again, just a little challenge, just a little for fun. I want to show, one, the dynamics of using and following the bots, and then two, want to show somebody the fun that you can have. Short-term trading this, day trading this. You could do it with a small account, $100, $50. You can do it with a large account if you want to. I'm just using Pi and X because I can have the bots active right next to it, and I can see what they're doing, and then I can do mine. It is definitely a lot tougher trading TXC on Pi and X rather than Bitmart or Dextrade, just because of the volume right now. So it's going to be a little bit slower as this goes, but a lot of the trends and patterns are going to follow. So that's also why I only put $100 in there, because if I would have put any like 5,000 or anything kind of crazy, the order book's not big enough to sustain that right now until more people get over to the American exchanges or the U.S. friendly exchanges in Biconomy and Pi and X. And as more liquidity gets added to them, we'll see the activity continue to rise. So I will keep updating you guys with this one. This was kind of a fun first day. I probably won't do another video on this challenge. I'll try to keep it to like a morning and maybe an afternoon, or a morning and a midday pickup. But since we got the little spike, I figured I'd hop on and get a little action recorded and show that I am beating AI so far in this challenge. So Hope everybody made a little bit of money today on that spike, and we will try again tomorrow. Have a good one.